two more new player press conferences. We have Sebastian Joseph Day and Jaquan Brisker, who have officially signed their deals and talked to the media. So let's hear what they had to say. Oh, do I have? Yeah, I do. There we go.
Any questions?
Sebastian, what was your excitement to work with Patrick Graham? What do you know about what he does in defense and how they're going to use you?
Yeah, no, the excitement, I'm really excited. I'm really pumped up. Some of those conversations, I think, kind of just want to stick between him and I, what they want to do with me. But I'm really excited. I'm really excited to be teaming up with Patrick Graham, and obviously an amazing front that they have already. And it's going to be really exciting, man, the things we're going to do. So I'm pumped. I'm really pumped. It puts a smile on my face as you see when I'm talking about it.
What are you most looking forward to being here in Pittsburgh and working with the Steelers?
I'm just excited, man, just to win games. You know, like just to win games. You know, they won their conference last year, and it's just exciting that
Division.
that we have such an amazing roster. Before I even got here, right, the roster was already a fire, and I'm just excited and honored that I get to join this group and go to work with them.
What allows you to be so versatile?
That's a great question. I think honestly, it's me not boxing myself in, and from the start, beginning of my career, I played a lot of nose next to Aaron Donald, and then when I left the Rams, we had a need. We kind of had a need. We had one of our D tackles that they signed with me get hurt, so they were like, "Hey, can you play this 3?" And I was like, "Whatever the team needs me to do," and I did it. And I just didn't box myself in. And then when I went to Tennessee, there was sweat. And sweat's like, sweat's like 360 pounds, it's a big man. So, he couldn't play, obviously he couldn't play 4. He couldn't play 4 or 5. So it was a no-brainer. Jeff was the 3, and I was like, I'll play the 5, I'll play the 6, I'll play the 4. And I think it's just me just not letting myself get boxed in, just being able to adapt and taking pride in being that guy that could, whatever you need me to do, I'll get it done, be that Army Swiss knife.
Have you noticed references to Aaron in the building?
Oh yeah, no, yeah. As soon as I walked in, or walked in the weight room, I took a photo because I'm sending it to him. He'll be like, I'm in your city now, brother. But yeah, no. Shout out to Aaron, man. Like I said earlier, amazing football player, but even a better person, man. Great person, and I'm super thankful for him because he helped me a lot early in my career.
Stroudsburg, Steel country or Eagle country growing up?
No, believe it or not, Stroudsburg is pretty evenly divided. I know I had a lot of Steelers fans, a lot of friends that were Steelers fans, and a lot of friends that were also Eagles fans. So,
Leaning one way or the other?
I didn't have, believe it or not, growing up. This is gonna sound crazy, but growing up, I was actually a Vikings fan because when I was really young, I fell in love with their uniform. So I always was a Vikings fan. When they didn't draft me, I was heartbroken, but I was talking to them too during the draft process. I was like, oh no. So yeah, I got over it. Oh, I definitely got over it. I mean, listen, Rams Super Bowl, 2 Super Bowls in like 4 years. I wasn't complaining. But yeah, so Stroudsburg's pretty excited. A lot of texts, a lot of messages, a lot of people are coming to attend.
6th round pick in 2018.
About Cam Hayward, his game, and you look forward to playing alongside him.
Oh man, I mean, Cam, first ballot, man. I mean, tremendous football player. And from what I see from afar, I don't know him personally, but from what I see from afar, even better human being. What he does in the community, and that's awesome. I'm just super excited to pair up with him. His game's amazing, man. I mean, when I watch film, because a lot of the teams I've played for were 3-4 defenses and stuff and whatnot. So you always watch teams that have comps to you, so you kind of see what the blocks you get. I always watch Cam, and he's always whipping ass. Excuse my language, but I never see him lose for real, honestly. And great, like I said, great football player. And I'm super excited to pair up with him and the rest of the guys, and fit in wherever they need me to, do whatever they need me to, and just help the team in whatever way I can.
On that note, Brian, back over from the post,
mentioned when you got your amazing roster, you think, and bringing you in. Do you feel like this is a team that still kind of making those win now moves with the quote unquote window open, especially as someone who's been there and seen it going to the Super Bowl? Like you have?
No, yeah, for sure. You definitely see the moves they're making, man, and it's really impressive. They're doing a great job, and again, from my perspective, I see a lot of great things that they're doing to lead us in that direction. But obviously, it always comes back to us executing and doing what we have to do. But on paper, yes, we look very nice, especially on the defensive side of the ball. I don't want to speak on the offensive side of the ball because that's not my side. But I'm speaking defensively.
With so much newness on this Steelers team. I mean, almost completely new coaching staff. What do you look for? Like, what's your mindset when you're entering a team like this with almost a completely clean slate outside of the veterans of the team?
I think my mindset is just to do whatever I got to do to help put the team in a great position to win. That's just my mindset, to be completely honest. It's just about being selfless and doing what's asked of you to help, whether that's whatever it is that they want to do with me, and I'm here for it. I just want to win games again. It's been a little different 2 years for me. Nothing but love for Tennessee at all. The 2 years over there, it's just been, I went from winning so much. I went to being in playoffs. I think 6 years, because even my first year at the Chargers, we were in playoffs to, kind of going on a little skid. So I think it's really been humbling because I got to see the duality of it both, right? The duality of it both, the things that you do to win, and the things that obviously don't help, don't help you win games. So I just want to get back on that I want to get back on that winning path and do whatever it takes to do that, whatever that role is for me, that they have for me.
In San Diego, the exit had to be shocking for you.
LA, but
Yeah.
continue.
An understanding, a truth about what happened there?
That's actually a really good question. No, I never really did, unfortunately. It was a very funky situation. Head coach getting fired. I get brought up, head coach getting fired. I go up to, thank him for everything. Then my D-line coach gets fired. And then I get called in the office. Obviously, by the interim head coach. And he asked me to, support him. Because at the time I was a 2-time captain over there. So he was like, hey, I need you to help me. I need you to help me steer these guys. We got to steer the ship, still be locked in. I need you to support me. Some of the things that a lot of positive conversation, just about how we're going to try to finish this thing the right way, even though there was a lot of unfortunate events that took place. And I had that conversation with him, and then a couple days went by and some things transpired that I'm probably not going to get into, that that I didn't think was fair, but that's life. That's life. That's how it goes, and I'm thankful for it because it shaped me. It shaped me, and it helped me become a better person and also a better player. And if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't end up in Tennessee and been playing 5 and 6 technique, right? I wouldn't have been able to. I wouldn't have been able to, like you said, expand my role and know that I could do different things on the defensive front. And so I'm super thankful for them. Super thankful for the Chargers. Shout out to the Spanoses. Shout out to Ed. Super thankful for them and my time there. Shout out to my teammates. Seriously, shout out to my teammates, Justin, Herbert, Derwin, Khalil Mack. Great guys, great human beings. And I hope that answers your question.
Two more for Sebastian?
Hey Sebastian, welcome to Pittsburgh. Alan Saunders from Pittsburgh Sports Now. You talked about being a captain. You talked about having Sweat next to you, who was a younger guy in Tennessee. The Steelers have invested a lot in the future of their defensive line. They've got 3 young guys. How did you become a guy that was willing to sort of take a guy under your wing, and what are you looking forward to about that part of the process?
I just think honestly, it's just about just being authentic, being yourself, right, and not pushing it upon anyone. Just going to work every day and letting it just naturally happen. Just letting people just naturally gravitate towards you. Again, I'm truly I just believe in just being seen but not heard. That's kind of like my deal. Obviously, as I'm yapping away up here, right? But that's kind of like just my. That's
Kinda
kinda
have
what I do
to.
when I play. I just try not to, not to be seen. I feel like if I'm not seen, then I'm doing a good job, But I'm heard, meaning like, Sebastian Joseph Day on the stop or, something like that. That's the way I kind of just try to live it out and do what I have to do on the football field. And, and hopefully, if they gravitate and if I could pour some in, if they come to me and then I could pour some knowledge that was poured into me my rookie year by Aaron and by Sue and by Michael Brockers, then, then yeah, so be it.
It does look like you've had a few fun media roles over the year. How'd you get into that, and do you have anything else on the agenda coming up?
Yeah, it's been fun. When I'm done playing, obviously I would love to be doing some sort of on-air type things. That's what I went to school for. I went to school for media relations,
Okay.
and I minored in labor. So that'll definitely be something that I want to get into when I'm done playing. How I got into it, just long story short, I had a friend that owned a company who shot Mike Tyson's podcast, and he was doing my food review stuff. And he knew that obviously I went to school for it, so he suggested me. I went to help out. They called me on it was really weird. I was like working out, and they called me and they said, "Hey, can you do the show? Can you do the show with Mike Tyson?" I was like, "Shit, yeah." Like, what? It's Mike Tyson. And I did the first episode with Terrell Owens. It went great, and it was easy because I grew up watching Terrell Owens. Being from being raised in Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania, a lot of Philly fans. Did that, went well. They went ghost. Like I didn't hear from them for like a month, and then next thing you know, they called me back and like, "Hey, Mike wants you back again." I was like, "All right, cool." And I was in the middle of workout again. I was like, "Who is it? Who's the guest?" And like T-Pain. I was like, T-Pain, like. Sorry, I got excited. I still get excited because like it's T-Pain. Like this is what I grew up on. Like what? Like I was in the club, T-Pain. You know what I mean? So I'm sorry, I got excited again. Yeah. Anyways, but I got excited and I was like, "Yeah, T-Pain, what?" Like I didn't
Wonder
have
what
to,
the G
I didn't have
is.
to study my questions, like because I know, and you guys know as journalists, like you study on the person you're going to interview and whatnot. And I was like, "Oh man, I know like so much about him already," because at that time growing up, I was like maybe like 12, 13, 14. So T-Pain was like a really big hit during that time. So it was really fun. Killed the interview, and the rest was kind of history. I just became his co-host for a while, yeah, for like 2-3 years now. The show has been stopped, but I was a co-host since it's been stopped, so it's been fun.
Sebastian, you mentioned that Super Bowl experience that you have. What was the biggest thing you learned in those games that you participated in?
Didn't they say two
Oh, man,
more
I just-
like 5
I
questions
think
ago?
This is gonna be a little different. I think I learned how to make every day count and make every second of it count because that year, I was having my best year. I had like 3 sacks in like 6 games. I was playing phenomenal. I was playing lights out. And then I tore my pec game 7.
Uh-huh.
So that was a bummer, like being able, it kind of like brought me down, I was getting built up, then God just brought me back down. So I think it honestly taught me about humility, taught me about appreciation of the game, appreciation of my teammates, appreciation of my coaches, and the people, and the people that you have around you, your support system. And at the same time, it was such a blessing as well to be able to experience that, and I'm thankful for that experience. I'm thankful for all my teammates, thankful for all the coaches that were part of that. And I use that each and every day as fuel, and I use that to guide me to always remember, never get too high, never get too low, just remain meek. So, yeah.
Sorry, wait, one for Jeff, and then we really have to wrap this up, guys. I'm sorry.
I know.
Podcast with Mike Tyson.
Yes, I have it's called Hot Boxing Podcast with Mike Tyson.
Tyson.
Oh, it was hilarious. It was a good time. You never knew what you're gonna get. Uncle Mike's a great guy. Shout out to his wife Kiki and his beautiful family. It was really fun. It was a really great experience. We got to interview all celebrities from all types, great athletes to people, actors, musicians. It was really fun. It was a really great experience, and also it was cool because I really got to let me work on my craft, what I want to do post career. So and it was lighthearted. It was lighthearted too. So it was more like chill, so you could have a good time.
All right, thank you,
All right.
guys.
God bless y'all. Have a good one.
We'll have Brisker in a little bit.
All right. Well, that was kind of cool to hear him talk about like some of the guys he played with. I knew he played for the Rams. It didn't register with me that he would have played with Aaron Donald. He would have played with Sue. He would have played with Michael Brockers, like he said. So, also didn't know he was from the Pennsylvania area. Somewhere, I guess, maybe in between Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. So, if it's more central PA, but that was kind of cool to learn. But yeah, I had to quickly check because he was talking about the Vikings not drafting him, so I went and looked quick, and 6th round pick by the Rams. And yeah, just, you can appreciate your time in a city with a team, but Tennessee, they had the first overall pick last year, and this year, what are they, like 4? They definitely do not win a whole lot over the past couple of years. So he might. I can check Tennessee's records the past 2 years. So Titans 2024 record. They finished 3-14. And their 2025 record 3-14. Huh. Interesting. Okay. So they won 6 games in 2 years. So he's more likely than not, he's going to win more games this year than he did the previous 2 seasons in Tennessee combined. Now, if I just check this quick, sheer curiosity. Okay. They won 6 games in 2023. Just curious. So that means if the Steelers were to win 12 games, granted he wasn't with Tennessee in 23, but we'll see. More likely than not, though, there is going to be a team in the NFL this year will win more games than the Titans have the past 3 years combined. If you can win 13, if you can go 13-4 or better, you have more wins in a single season than the Titans have the previous 3. Wow. That's sad. Could always be worse. All right. Well, I think that's about it for Sebastian. And let's head over to Brisker's press conference.
You guys good in the back? Cameras? Good? Yeah. All right. Fire away, guys.
How's it feel to be back?
It feels amazing. Just, going through the tunnels, seeing the city, seeing that beautiful water, it feels amazing to be back for sure.
Growing up, were you playing football in the backyard thinking you wanted to be a Steeler, pretending you were a Steeler, taking through kind of your childhood growing up into now?
Yeah, just growing up, started football at 4 or 5 years old and, going around the house, throwing footballs around, mom taking it away from me, down using socks or water balls, acting like, I'm playing football, things like that. But never thought I would be a Steeler, which is crazy. But now that I'm here, I'm just so blessed and, humbled to be here. And I just get chilled, just knowing that I'm be a Pittsburgh Steeler and I'm from Pittsburgh. So.
Jaquan, you've been described as Chris Carter, Pittsburgh Post Gazette. You've been described as a Swiss Army knife. Last year you played, not directly even, but close to even, box and free. What do you feel like you're most excited to play the Steelers defense, with the way that they're going to use you at safety?
Yeah, I just feel excited to just be, used, like you said, like a Swiss Army knife, playing free, playing strong, playing that dime, backer or whatever, just being moved around to showcase what I could do and to help the team win and, elevate my teammates and, elevate the defense. So just whatever I could do to help the team win and, showcase what I could do, I'm willing to do it.
Well, it looked like the Bears were a team on the ascent, good run in the playoffs. What are you getting into here?
I feel like it's going to be the same thing. They just won a divisional title last year. Got a lot of great pieces, around us, around me. I feel like they had a lot of great players on defense already. You got TJ, you got Jalen, you got Joey, Patrick Queen, Cam Hayward, Highsmith, and a lot of young guys too. And they're building on the offense, so I feel like it's a great opportunity, to make a deep playoff run again.
A story about you and Joey back at Penn State. Anything good?
I had to get Joey together. I'll say that. He had to mature, but which he did, and that's one of my favorite teammates, one of my guys, and to see him where he came from at Penn State to now, it's amazing, and he's gonna be a great player in this league for sure.
Why did he need to mature?
I think he was just his ego, his ego when he came in. I think he was like, what?
He kind of still has that.
And I just had to, just get him right into the right path. So football-wise. Say it again.
How did you manage to do that?
Well, I was a captain. I was a leader, and I wanted to win a championship so bad, and I felt like it was my job to get the DBs, the group, the defense together, and that takes hard work. That takes work ethic, and that's an everyday thing. That's consistency, and it's not just a one-day thing, or it's not just I'm gonna show up and just give my talent. And for him, he wanted to be great, and I wanted to push him, and I seen what he had in him. But really, in all my teammates, that's what I see. I see greatness within them, and I'm the #1 fan. So, that was. He's from Pittsburgh, and he was a top recruit. But Coach Terry brought us in, to win championships. So, didn't want him to slack, and obviously knew his dad, things like that, and we came in together. So, you just got to push your teammates.
When you officially signed, just how do you put into words what do you think it's going to be like when you walk through that tunnel, you take the field in your hometown for the first time wearing that jersey?
Yeah, when I was thinking about that, I'm just like, man, seeing the terrible towel, waving around, hearing that Renegade song, I'm just like, man, it's gonna be so fun playing in front of the fans and turn them up. That's all I just want to do. Just that energy, that passion, this city has, around the football, team and things like that. It's like no other. Like I said, before walking in here, while I was in Chicago, there was a lot of Pittsburgh fans in that stadium too. So they travel well, and I can't wait to play in front of them. So it's gonna be amazing.
As a follow-up to that, have you been to Latrobe since you're from here?
No, I've been to Latrobe one time in high school. We played them, and I had maybe 2-3 touchdowns. We beat them bad. No, I've never been to a Steelers camp at Latrobe. No.
Playing for Latrobe then?
Yeah.
Pushing Joey. Mm-hmm. Do you look forward in turn to having the opportunity to work with Ramsey and Elliott, and what do you want to learn from them?
Yeah, I look forward to playing with those players. Obviously, I seen them from afar, and I seen Jalen, play corner at a high level, and just trying to get to learn how he's been consistent for so many years, playing at a high level, staying healthy, that's huge, and being able to move around. He plays corner, he plays nickel, he plays safety, so just getting any information I can get from him, and Deshaun too. Any information I can get from him also. I always want to learn, from any player, and there's always room to grow. So.
Well, when you talked about Joey coming into Penn State as a 5-star with a big ego, you kind of had the opposite experience, right? You go to Lackawanna. How did you keep your self-confidence and not let that setback define you and come out the other side the way you did?
I always just believed in myself. I just needed an opportunity, to showcase my talents. And Coach Duda, helped me a lot, become a better, person, a better student, a better player. And when I went to Penn State, I just, focused on, just getting better every single day, try to, know the playbook like the back of my hand, know what the D-line's doing, the linebackers, the corners, the safeties, the nickels, just know the playbook and things like that. And, I just always just focus on myself and always just focus on, progressing.
What have the last few days been like for you? Where were you when you found out about the deal? Who did you call?
Yeah, the last few days, it's honestly been crazy. My phone's been blowing up to the point my phone was on like 90% and it died. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's how many calls and texts I was getting. And the first person I called was my mom. I'm about to be a Steeler. And she's like, baby, are you sure? I'm like, yes, I'm about to be a Steeler. So she's like, oh my God, this is so exciting. So, and then I texted the family group chat. I'm like, I'm a Steeler, and everybody was going crazy and things like that. So it was amazing.
When you found out?
I was in California. I was training at Westlake Village at Proactive. And to be honest, Joey was kind of on a phone call too a little bit. He was on FaceTime because he was blowing up like my agent and things like that, and blowing me up. Like, what are you gonna do? I'm like, bro, I'm probably gonna be a Steeler. And once it was official, I was like, I'm a Steeler, baby. So I was turned. So it was amazing for sure.
Did you think the Steelers were an option when free agency first started?
Yeah, that's why. To be honest, that's what I told my agent. A couple teams, but the Pittsburgh was one of them. I wanted to come back and play here, and obviously the tradition they have here. I seen it from afar. And I had a lot of teammates come back here and play here, and they say it's amazing, and I always knew that. So I was just definitely a destination I wanted to be.
Who's your favorite Steeler growing up?
Favorite? Just period, offense, defense, or just.
What do you got?
All right, I'll say Antonio Brown, and I'll say Troy Polamalu.
Does that make you a strong safety then?
No.
So you might have been a receiver and a safety then.
Safety.
Well, what position are you? Are you just both? Or?
I just classify me as a defensive back. I could play anywhere on the field.
Well, can you talk about that? When I talk to guys running out NFL, like Rand Castle,
In the draft, they do say DB.
he talks about the importance of when you're a safety in today's NFL, you have to be flexible
Mm-hmm.
because free and strong is becoming like positionless basketball at this point.
Yep.
How do you see that developing, and what things have you done that have you trained to make yourself that diverse in skill sets?
Things that I have done, I would say, would just be just making sure that I can play in the post and play in the box, but also being able to play in like I'll say field boundary. If you really think about it, safeties are now playing Will, Star. You see that from Derwin James, Cal, Hamilton, the young safety in Seattle, and I can name plenty of other players that you see it from.
Evan Worry.
And you just have to be versatile, but you have to be willing to know the playbook and know everything, and that's what comes with it. So just working on, because everybody's gonna want to play man if you think about it. When you blitz, when you run cover 0, when you run cover 1, or when you don't have no help in the middle, you just gonna have to learn how to play man. So just up in my game in that category, and obviously in the middle of the field, in zone, and things like that. So just being able to do it all.
You talked about at Penn State, that was something you need to do as a leader to
Mm-hmm.
help guys. Was that something that you were encouraged by Coach Terry, like way back in college? So that's sort of like an asset that's always been in your favor.
Yeah.
Coming to the NFL.
Yeah, I just wanted to win so bad. So I feel like everybody has to be on the same page. Like when you win championships, it's really player led. If you think about it, you ask any player who won a championship, they say the players led it, and that's what I wanted to do at Penn State. I wanted to lead, by example, and that's what my work ethic, and that was what, maybe I was vocal, maybe I might get in your face, maybe I, just depending on the player, because I knew my teammates, so maybe I might have to get on his face, or maybe I have to pull him aside or things like that, but it's always out of love, and it's always, that I want to win bad, so that's all I wanted to do. I just wanted to win, and, up with my teammates, and they're thankful, for me for doing that. And I still get texts from this day from Penn Staters, from the Bears, from whatever teammate I had, they always thank me. So it comes a long way.
Even though after only 4 years in the league so far, new team, new coaches, you're going to be able to kind of adopt that leadership personality in that locker room?
Yeah. Yeah, I think. Well, I know I can. It's just the type of player I am. I always want to show it, by my work ethic, and always want to show it like just daily. And I feel like I'm a great person to watch, and a great person to listen to.
Can you talk about Brian Batko from the Post Gazette, Jaquan? I know a couple years ago you missed a lot of time. And how good did it feel to just prove that you can still be that guy, staying on the field last season, that trash-talking, hard-hitting guy,
Yeah.
and that you can stay healthy? And how scary was that, I guess, a couple years ago?
Yeah. It was amazing to play a full season. Obviously, I wanted to do more for them. Wanted to be moved around, wanted to make more plays and things like that. But, did everything I could within the defense, within the scheme, and, to be able, to come back from that, because it was a tough injury. But like I said before, I could have came back a lot more earlier, but the season didn't go, how we expected. And, to be honest, I just want to take care of my long-term health and make sure I was able to play this upcoming season. So, and to get, over that, it was amazing. To get back to, where I was and who I was, it was even better. But I feel like this year is going to be a lot better because I had no setbacks, and really my first year, playing the whole year. So it's going to be fun.
Is there a mindset that comes with a one-year deal?
Yeah, just betting on myself like I always have. When I was in junior college, when I was in high school, when I had 0 offers, and plus, they let me come to Pittsburgh Steelers. So it's my hometown, so it's going to be amazing playing here. Got a chip on my shoulder already. I'm already motivated, but I just told myself, whoever gets me is going to get the best version of me. And I just can't wait to, showcase what I could do.
Do you have more comfortability with playing for a fellow Ginzer coach?
Yeah, I'll say so. I wanted to play for him when he coached at the Cowboys, and he had a lot of some of the similar staff there still that he brought over here with the Steelers. So we had a good relationship. It was funny when I FaceTimed them. Well, when we talked on the phone, he had said something about my father. He's like, yeah, and I still remember your dad from at Penn State. I was like, that was hilarious because they had a great conversation, and you just tell how great a person my father is, and how he got that effect that a head coach still remembers him. You know what I mean? Because some fathers could get in the way of their son's journey. So I feel like that was big.
These coaches remember your grandfather.
I didn't get that one yet. But
Aviator.
Yeah, I didn't get that one yet. Not yet.
You talked about Terry Smith. Playoff game last year, show the versatility and how you can play.
Yeah, I'll say that. But I could say I could do a lot more than what I did at the Rams. I think that was just an opportunity that just came to me. Just me being around the ball, coach calling great calls and things like that. But I feel like I could do a lot more than what you guys seen, and I can't wait to showcase that. That's what I'm waiting on. For me to be used a lot more.
You talk about just your relationship, how he helped you as a player in college, and then maybe what it was like just seeing him get his intern head coaching chance this past year.
Yeah, it was amazing. I was watching it from far, texting him, and honestly, I didn't want to bother him because I know everybody was texting him and saying a lot of things, but we're so close, and to see him have success, and it's tough. You think about it. Coach gets fired, interim head coach comes in, and guys still have to look at him as a leader. They still have to go out there and win and dial in. And at the same time, you're getting criticism from fans, negativity from everybody around. So, for him to keep those guys composed and focused and go on a 4 or 5 game win streak and win a bowl game is huge. And Coach Terry. I knew he was going to be ready for that, that position, that spotlight. He was the head coach at Gateway, but the way he treats his players, the way he goes about, his business and things like that, it's amazing, and you could just tell. And you can't cheat the game. It's always going to reward you, and he got rewarded.
What was the biggest thing he did for you that you remember just developing wise, either on the field or off the field?
For me, I would just say, just be where my feet is. When you come into the building, leave everything that, any problem or anything. It's all about football when you come into the building, and just learning that from him, and learning, just really just really how to be a better person, a better man. It was not always about football with him, but football-wise, when you come into the building, just keep the main thing, be where your feet are, and just be dominant.
Well, did you go to many Steeler games at Heinz Field growing up?
I never went to an NFL game until, like, the year I got drafted. It was like the San Fran versus the Rams. I really couldn't afford to go to any games, to be honest. And watch everything from TV. And the only thing I really did, like, Steeler-wise, was go to, like, Ben Roethlisberger camp. Won a couple championships there at quarterback with the Mike Tomlin's camp. Mike Tomlin was a mentor for me too. So, that was the only things couldn't afford to go to a Pittsburgh game. But, always wanted somebody like that to come around because I never really had, like, a role model like that. Obviously my brothers, but NFL player, So, one of the times, I seen Antonio, Brown training here. I was working with Dwayne Brown, and like, I seen like maybe like 2 fans like go up to his car. I'm like, that's Antonio Brown. I ran up there, got a video, and he took my phone, and he was like doing with cheesing and things like that. I'm like, man, that was like a surreal moment, but that was like the only closest thing I got.
The first Steelers game that you see inside the stadium be one that you're playing in then?
Yes. Because, that is crazy, but if you think about it, I could have had an opportunity to play here, I think my high school year, but I couldn't play. I had got suspended, but I had the opportunity to, play a game, and I never got to play Heinz Field here. So.
Acrisure.
Yes.
Did you pick a number yet?
Yes, I had number 3. Yep.
Because many have reached out to you?
Yes. Yep. They added me on IG too. So, yeah. So we're all good. We're all good over there.
How do you feel that your skill set's going to benefit the Steelers' defense?
Say it again?
How do you feel that your skill set is going to benefit the Steelers' defense?
I feel like it's going to benefit a lot. We got a lot of DBs, a lot of great DBs that they brought in that were already here. And, being under the DC, I feel like, he's going to utilize, my skill set within the scheme. And it's going to be amazing to see. I feel like I'm actually going to be able to showcase, what I could do, within, the scheme and within this defense. And I just can't wait to, show what I could do.
Thank you, guys.
Yes. Appreciate it. You guys have a great day.
All right. So, I had to do a little bit of a search because I'm like, what injury are they talking about in 2024? So on Wikipedia, it says, in Week 5, Brisker had 5 combined tackles, 2 solo, a pass deflection, and a forced fumble before exiting late in the second quarter after sustaining a concussion on a violent collision where he dove for a tackle on tight end Tommy Tremble with the crown of his helmet, hitting Tremble hard enough to force a fumble and also knocking Tremble out during the Bears' 36-10 win against the Carolina Panthers. He was placed into concussion protocol and remained inactive for the remainder of the season, missing the last 12 games. So week 6 to week 18, and they had their bye somewhere in there. He finished the season with 40 combined tackles, 2 pass deflections, 1 sack, 1 interception in 5 games, and 5 starts. He received an overall grade of 65.3 from Pro Football Focus, which ranks 72nd among 171 qualifying safeties in 2024. So quickly did that. And then I had to see So it says, yes, Brisker born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And he went to school in Monroeville, Pennsylvania, which is very western and a little south. And I actually did a little more on Sebastian Joseph Day, just to see where Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania is. And it's actually almost as far east as you can go in the state of Pennsylvania. So the fact that there was a healthy mix of Eagles and Steelers fans when that should really be Eagles territory is kind of cool. And Brisker did say he picked 3, and that has been reported. I've seen on Twitter. This has not been reported yet. I'm checking one last time. No, has not been reported. So Sebastian Joseph Day did interact with a fan who asked if he could keep the number 69, and he reposted it with the caption, "Duh." So I have a feeling that Joseph Day will be getting the number 69. So, as far as Brisker, he's probably our starting safety, probably across from Elliott, I would imagine. I would say that probably also pushes Jalen Ramsey to slot corner. And there's probably a little bit of flexibility. If we wanted to bring Brisker to the slot, put Jalen out at safety, we could probably change how we do it a little bit. Which is nice to have that flexibility. But I'm also thinking about our secondary, right? Just, if we put those 5 out there, Joey, Dean, Elliott, Brisker, and Ramsey. And I'm going to just check myself really quick just to make sure I'm right on this. Yes, okay. So I just wanted to make sure I wasn't about to say something incorrect here. So you take those 5. If those were our starting 5 on the field, right, in like some kind of nickel package, all of them would be at least 6 feet tall, which is kind of cool. They're all 6 foot, 6'1", maybe a little bit taller. I think Joey's about 6'2". Dean's like 6'1", Ramsey's 6'1", I think. I just checked on Elliott. He's 6 foot and like 7/8. Brisker, I think I saw, was 6'1". So everyone's, got good height. There's no, 5'9" guy out there. Now, you go past that depth, and I do think Darnell Savage, he might be like a 5'11", maybe 6 foot. I'll just quickly check his pre-draft measurables. Okay, he's 5'10" and 3/4. So yeah, he's 5'11". Still not, horribly short by any means necessary. And then you have Brandon Eccles, which he might be like 5'10", if I had to guess. Let's see. He's 5'10" and 1/8. Okay. And Asante Samuel, I'm gonna say, is probably that 5'9" or 5'10", if I had to put a number. 5'10" and 1/8. Same height as Eccles. So, our starters are all, of a good size. The backups, they're a little smaller, but not small by any means necessary. And sometimes when you're small, you can make up for it. There's the kid, I think he played at Indiana, Pond, right? The corner, D'Angelo Pond, I think his name is. He's like that 5'9" or whatever he is. I can quickly. But let's see, D'Angelo Pond. Oh, Ponds, plural. My bad. All right, let's see here. He measured in at 5'8" and 5/8. So yes, pretty short. But he made up for it with his vertical, 43.5. So that's where it's okay. Now his arm length, 29 3/8. So it's like, okay. Now we're learning a little something. Where it's, you're short, but you can jump. So that makes up for it. So there's always that. But back to Jaquan here. It, like, for a lot of us, and not even just Steelers fans, if you're a fan of whatever team, and it doesn't even have to be football. It could be any sport. But if you had the chance to play for your favorite team, you'd be pretty stoked about it, And, that could be what they're doing a little bit, I mean, Joseph Day from Pennsylvania, Brisker from Pittsburgh, and you're getting guys where it's like, okay, you're close to home. They either fit the Steelers' mentality, or they grew up around it, so they know it. That seems what they're doing a little bit between a guy like a Pittman, Brisker, Joseph Day. Who else did they go get? They got Dean, again, physical corner. That would perfectly fit Joey's style. Trying to think who else they went and got. Oh, they got Dowdle, physical running back. So a lot of it just kind of screams Pittsburgh. So that is it for this video. If you guys did enjoy it, please do leave a like. And if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, turn notifications on. I'll see all you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.